Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, I got some news that we're going to go ahead and break down. Lots and lots of rumors, and we also know who the opponents are going to be for Las Vegas in 2022. The schedule hasn't been released yet, but we at least know all the opponents. So in terms of who the heck the Raiders are going to be playing this upcoming season, you know that we're going to be playing the AFC West. That doesn't change. Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, breaking news, we're going to play them at home, and we're going to play them away. Now this season we had 9 home games and 8 away games. Technically, maybe you could say we had more because we played the Chargers. But anyway, when you look at some of the other home games this upcoming season, it's the Cardinals, the Texans, the Colts, the Patriots, and the 49ers. The numbers that you see over here in the parentheses, that's the record that they had this season. Cardinals are a playoff team. Colts thought they were going to be. Patriots and 49ers. So 3 playoff teams that we're going to have to end up playing at home. What about some of these away games? Jacksonville, New Orleans, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a playoff team. New Orleans, almost a playoff team. Some other away games, the Tennessee Titans, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Rams. Playoff team, playoff team. So when you really break all those games down, the Raiders' 2022 opponent record is 152, 136, and 1, which is actually tied for 7th hardest schedule. I will say this. Out of all of those games, the Seahawks could change a lot because I think they're going to have a different quarterback. And not saying because of what they did in 2021 is how they're going to be playing in 2022. Obviously, we know that changes a little bit, but I do think it's a pretty interesting metric. The Raiders always have one of the toughest schedules. Why? They play in a very tough division. Now, to make sure that you guys never miss any news or rumors around Las Vegas, what I want you guys to do is hit that subscribe button. It's going to be a fun offseason. But before we get into that offseason, man, this is going to be a hell of a week. And I'm telling you what, the excitement around Raider Nation, the excitement that I've had coming into work every single day and breaking down all this stuff for you, it's because we're in the playoffs. So to make sure you never miss anything, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and if you don't have a voice like me, it's because you were screaming really loud on Sunday. Now let's talk about some of these injury news, and unfortunately this one breaks my heart because Darius Philon was absolutely balling out in this game week 18 before he was carted off. Tried to swat down a ball by Justin Herbert, and on the jump, he came down. You're like, oh, man, I don't know exactly what happened. But according to Jeremy Fowler, it was reported that he tore his patellar tendon. For those of you that don't know, the patellar tendon runs down the front of your knee, and it's really, really painful. He is expected to be a free agent this offseason. He signed a contract, a 1-year, $990,000 deal to start the season. So with that serious injury, and he's been pretty solid for us this season, should the Raiders go out and re-sign Philon? I want you to type Y for yes down in the comments, or I want you to go ahead and you can type N for no. This is what this show is about. News, rumors, but it's also about being interactive. So this is where you guys can get your opportunity. Let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Should the Raiders re-sign Darius Philon? My answer is going to change. Why? Because it's a yes if Gus Bradley is the defensive coordinator. The answer is yes, because every single time in Philon's career that he's been with Bradley, he's been very productive. The issue is this. If Bradley isn't back, then my answer is going to be no, because every other DC that he's had that hasn't been Bradley, he has not been good. Now, before I started today's show, we started getting a whole bunch of roster moves, so please sit tight with me. I'm going to read some of these notes here. The Raiders have activated linebacker Markel Lee and defensive tackle Kender Vickers from the reserve COVID list. The Raiders have designated, here's really good news, linebacker Nicholas Morrow for return from the reserve list as well. The Raiders have placed Darius Philon, which I just talked about, and then Will Compton. He unfortunately just got cut. The Raiders have signed defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs. That's going to be your Philon replacement. And Daniel Heim and Justin March Lilliard to the practice squad. With those moves, the Raiders have released wide receiver Javon Wims and linebackers Mar Bilal from the practice squad. Also, the Raiders had a little bit of a walkthrough practice today, and they will also do another one tomorrow before practicing in full on Thursday. Jonathan Hankins did not participate. Casey Hayward, Josh Jacobs, Merrick, and Darren Waller were all limited in today's practice. Now, if you guys want more information and more updates like that, remember you can also always hit me up on IG. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Coming up now here on the Raiders Report, we're going to get into some of these Raiders head coaching rumors because there's definitely plenty to get around. Now, before I get into some of these rumors, I don't know about y'all, I couldn't stop screaming. I literally couldn't fall asleep. I fell asleep at like 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday because I was just that excited, which I guess technically then it was Monday. Why? Because the Las Vegas Raiders are in the playoffs, and if you guys want to get your Raiders playoff memorabilia, here's how you do it. Chatsports.com/Raiders Playoffs. That's the link. We got 2 shirts available. This one and then Lights Playoffs Action. It comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. These are the only 2 colors, but I'm telling y'all right now, they are going very, very quick. So if you don't take advantage of getting this shirt now, you're probably not going to be able to get it. The link is available for y'all in the chat. It's also available for y'all down in the comments section, description, all that good stuff. Chatsports.com/Raiders Playoffs. Now let's get into some of these coaching rumors, and we're first going to talk about Jim Harbaugh, because over the weekend I was talking to some of my people, and the report was that Harbaugh didn't go to a meeting at Michigan over the weekend to talk about his future contract. Obviously, that interests me very, very much because I'm like, why would he not do it? Now, I've heard 2 sides. Either A, he's trying to get more money from Michigan, or B, maybe he doesn't want to go back to Michigan. Harbaugh also has reportedly gone silent. He's not talking to anybody from Michigan, nobody from the Wolverines. Maybe because, again, he knows where he's going to go. And then according to another report, apparently the Raiders have offered Harbaugh a contract worth $12 million per year. If you remember, John Gruden was given $10 million per year, $100 million guaranteed. I've always said, if you're going to try to get Harbaugh from Michigan, you're going to have to offer him probably more than what you offered Gruden. And if this report's true, which people who I talk to say it is, it's just something to think about. Now, what would you guys do? Because obviously the Raiders are in the playoffs. They're 10-7. Rich Bisaccia has done a hell of a job. But also Jim Harbaugh is a great head coach and has had success wherever he's gone. So what I want you guys to do right now is go down in the comments section and let me know, who is the better head coach? Type JH for Jim Harbaugh or RB for Rich Bisaccia. My answer to this is Harbaugh is the better head coach because he's had success in college. He's had success with San Diego, Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan, and even though maybe he's never won the big game, he just beat Ohio State this past year. He got into the college football playoffs, and like I said, anytime you can find somebody who's had success like he has, plus a player really good with quarterbacks, I have a lot of confidence in Harbaugh. But here's the thing, you can't just talk about who's the better head coach. I really, truly believe that Rich Bisaccia has better connection with the players. And I've actually heard from players myself that they want Bisaccia back. Now, that doesn't mean that they want him back as a head coach, but when you consider everything that this team has went through, I will go ahead and I will bat to say that the Raiders have the closest locker room in the National Football League, and what you're going to try to do is bring back Bisaccia, who's one of these glue coaches, bring him back in, whether that is as a head coach, whether that is as a special teams coordinator. But from what I've heard, the players want him back, and I do think that's going to carry a lot of weight. Now, what do we do here? We also bring in the no Chucky head. So what are the chances that the Raiders are going to bring in Harbaugh to be the next head coach? I'm actually going to bump this one up. 2 no Chucky heads, and people are talking. What does that mean? Flip a coin in the air right now. If you call heads and it lands on heads, Harbaugh is going to be the head coach, because that's really what I truly believe. I really, from people that I talk to, the $12 million thing seems legit. I've heard from a source myself that Vegas has their eyes just heavily on one candidate. And when you see people like Bruce Feldman start tweeting out that Harbaugh could leave, and then you start seeing all these other people start putting out information, I really, truly believe that right now the front runner to be the Las Vegas Raiders head coach next season is, in fact, Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, that could change if the Raiders win a few playoff games. If they win the Super Bowl, I don't know how the hell you don't bring Rich Bisaccia back. But as it stands right now, if my life was on the line and somebody said, hey, Mitch, who's going to be the next head coach of the Raiders, I would go ahead and say Jim Harbaugh. Now, here's a quote from Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. Buzz is building in league circles that team owner Mark Davis wants and will get the former 49ers and current Michigan head coach. Now, usually when I do these shows, I always try to give you guys like my 2 cents. If I was Vegas, right, if I was making betting odds right now, these would be my Raiders head coach candidates. I truly believe that the guy with the most likely to get it is Harbaugh. Then at number 2 would be Bisaccia. Number 3 is Todd Bowles, because a few weeks ago the Raiders released their list of guys that they are going to interview for the position. It was Todd Bowles, Leslie Frazier, Rich Bisaccia, Gus Bradley. I'm also going to sprinkle in Brian Dable, Kellen Moore. Now, the reason why the Raiders haven't started, requesting interviews is because Mark Davis said it himself. He wants to wait until the season is over. Obviously, the season is still going on, but I also believe it's because he's got his eyes on somebody. And the top 2 guys right now, Harbaugh, Bisaccia, that's really who I think the Raiders and Mark Davis himself is going to be picking from. So there's a lot of head coaches out there, obviously, right? The rumors are going to continue to swirl. You're going to hear a lot of different things. Who do you want as the Raiders' next head coach? And be honest with me, put the name down there in the comments, whether you're watching this live or if you're watching it on a later date. I'm going to go down. I'm going to see what you guys have to say, because that's what makes this show different. We've made videos before on this channel where I say, hey, Damon Arnett should get cut. He gets cut. Darren Waller should get extended. He gets extended. I really, truly believe that the Raiders watch what we do here because Mark Davis listens to the fan base. So who do you want as the Raiders' next head coach? Who knows? Maybe we even send it to Mark Davis himself. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of news, a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff to be able to keep you guys up to date on. So if you ever have any questions about what the heck is going on with the Raiders, hit me up on Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. There's going to be a lot of stuff to cover. Obviously, I can't get to everything in a video, but I've been doing a lot better job, I personally think, of trying to keep you guys up to date on Twitter and on IG. Seriously, check my IG stories. Warning, though, you are going to see once in a while some pictures and videos of my dog Chuck, because that's my dude right there. Now, this isn't the only rumors around Jim Harbaugh. We're also talking about potentially trading for a coach. So for those of you that don't follow me, I talked about this a little bit over the weekend. Jay Glazer from Fox Sports says that the Raiders are looking at going after a rock star head coach. I hear rock star and I'm just like jamming out like in my living room like, what the hell does this even mean? Las Vegas could trade for a head coach. That was a report. And Glazer said that Davis wants to make a big splash. The three names that I've been hearing have been mentioned: Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pete Carroll of the Seattle Seahawks, Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints. So overall, when you hear these rumors, when you hear about people talking about it, what are the chances that the Raiders actually go out and trade for a coach? It's one no Chucky head, and I'm going to say it's a 1% chance that the Raiders actually go out and do this. So I don't really think it's going to happen. I can't sit here and say zero, because if Mike Tomlin says, hey, I want to leave the Steelers, the Raiders should be interested. If Pete Carroll, who I really think is actually going to be leaving the Seahawks, does leave, then that's another guy. And then from what I hear, I don't see Sean Payton leaving. The reason why it's one no Chucky though is because the Raiders would be doing themselves a disservice to not interview Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, or Pete Carroll if all three of those coaches would become available. Now, I did think about this, because as soon as I heard trade, I was like, well, what's a good example of a trade that went down where a coach was traded to another team? And I was like, duh, John Gruden. Does everybody remember this trade back in 2002 when the Raiders received 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million? Now, when the Raiders originally made this trade, the picks were not technically known. It was just 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. It ended up being a 2022, a 2023 first, a 2022, 2024 second-round pick. That's actually what it ended up being. 2002, excuse me. Years, 2022, right in the future. And then the Buccaneers, they received John Gruden. So knowing that the Raiders could potentially have to give up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, money is not really that big of an issue to me, because $8 million to Mark Davis, he wipes his you-know-what with that type of money. But just to get a head coach, would you give that up for Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin? Let me know down in the comments section. So type T for trade, type P for pass. Would you want the Raiders to go out and trade for a rock star head coach like Tomlin? Payton, T for trade, P for pass. I'm going to be looking.